Can I be honest with you? I am bad news. I'm not your friend. I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna break you. Any questions?
This Friday on the Radio 5 live show that I co-present with Simon Mayo, our special guest is director Catherine Bigelow, director of Near Dark, Point Break, The Hurt Locker, and most recently, the Oscar contender Zero Dark 30, the film about the hunt for Osama Bin Laden. Now, you cannot have failed to notice that in recent weeks, Zero Dark 30 has become a magnet for press controversy. Lots of accusations about whether or not the film endorses or somehow glorifies the use of torture. Now, this whole scandal came to a head just recently when Naomi Wolf, a respected writer but self-publicist of note, compared Catherine Bigelow to Nazi propagandist Leni Riefenstahl, saying, like Riefenstahl, you're a great artist, but you'll be remembered forever as torture's handmaiden. This is a pretty serious accusation to make, but more importantly, it's a serious accusation being made at around Oscars time. And as anyone who knows anything about the history of awards season knows, this is the time when people say things that are frankly mad about movies. In fact, whenever the Oscars roll around, it's time for everyone to look around and wonder who's going to call who a Nazi first. Just cast your memory back a few years to the time when A Beautiful Mind was a big Oscar contender. And suddenly, in the press, we had loads of stories that John Nash, the central character in the film, played by Russell Crowe, was an anti-Semite. Remember all that? Why was that story suddenly in the press? Could it be that it was trying to put people off voting for A Beautiful Mind? I remember before that, the fuss that surrounded The People versus Larry Flint, a very, very fine film about what freedom of speech means, based on the idea expressed best by George Orwell that if freedom of speech means anything, it must be the freedom for people to say the things you don't want to hear. But in the run-up to the Oscars, all the attention was on people being outraged by the person of Larry Flint. Would Larry Flint himself turn up at the Oscars and somehow shame the ceremony? Did that cast a shadow over the film? And then think back to what happened this time last year when Kim Novak, the celebrated actress, took out an advert in the entertainment trade press, shockingly headlined, "I want to report a rape." What was the rape she was reporting? The use by the artist, a lovely, innocuous, delightful best film contender, of music from a movie in which she had starred. Yes, the accusation was that somehow, in using Bernard Herrmann's score from Vertigo, the artist had actually physically assaulted Kim Novak. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there is not an interesting, intelligent, impassioned debate to be had about the politics of Zero Dark 30. There's been a lot of stuff in the press about how much collaboration the filmmakers may or may not have had from the authorities. They've talked about doing interviews with people who really understand the case, but recently, members of the CIA have come out and said, hey, well, you know, the story is inspired by real events, but it's also very, very fictional. The film is clearly generating debate. That's fine. Comparing people to Leni Riefenstahl, hey, welcome to awards season.
If you're right, the whole world's gonna win in on this.
You will never find him. He is one of the disappeared ones.